I learned early on that I was one of those left-brain individuals and therefore tended to view things in a very logical manner. But please don't hold that against me because my type of person provides balance and it keeps the earth from falling off its axis. I also learned early on that some people had a different view of the world and they had a talent to draw, paint, sculpt, play musical instruments, and cook exceptional food. Merging the two types of people actually made life interesting because of the differences. There are many times I was jealous I did not have those talents. However, I found something out. Viewing certain things made you feel good. It could be a painting or hearing music or tasting a fantastic meal. You came away with a feeling of elation. There was something I learned about 30 years ago. As the CFO of our company, I made a trip to our cotton brokerage in Fresno, California. It was my first trip to the West Coast. After a day there, I must have been annoying them because they handed me a map with directions to Yosemite. I saw the wonders of Yosemite that day and realized something. It was that it was no fun to view it alone without someone to share it with. Within 2 years, I did it again with my wife and have never viewed the wonders of the world alone again. I am aware of art and museums and so forth. As the CFO of our company, I was also responsible for the contributions budget. And I always made sure that some museum or other cultural group in the city was supported by our company. Thank you.
First forum I've been to this year because I can't dance. I can't play a musical instrument. And lately, I can't walk too well. So anyway, I'm here. In college, I actually had taken a lot of film classes. I thought at one time I was going to be the next Steven Spielberg, but life didn't turn out that way. So anyway, I've been in Sedona since 1998. I have been on city council, so I have interacted with the arts community, and I do buy a lot of art. So that's my association with art.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me today and for taking your time. My name is Scott Jablow. Many of you know that I'm a retired police investigator from New York. During my career, I did have some very unique experiences with art. I developed a very interesting technique of spray painting lines around evidence and bodies. But I don't think that's exactly what you're looking for. In all seriousness, I have no professional artistic experience at all. As a matter of fact, I've been called artistically challenged by my really close friends, and I understand that because I can't draw a line without a ruler and sometimes even with a ruler. So that being said, I'm very handy and derive great satisfaction from fixing and building and improving things around my house for my elderly neighbors and my friends in the community. But to all of you with an artistic gift, I can quite honestly say that I am jealous of your talent. And for that and all of your hard work, in essence, is why I am your audience. After all, isn't that why it is that you do what you do? So that people like me can appreciate your hard work. It makes sense to me that we should find ways to do more to support our diverse artists in Sedona and to bring your great talents to the forefront of our lives. Thank you.
My name is Tom Lampkin, and my areas of interest mostly were in photography and the written word. In photography, I was interested in pictures of nature. My photos were close-ups, which I had enlarged for my own enjoyment purely as an amateur. My real dedication was to the written word. I took creative writing in high school and college. I wrote short stories primarily and poetry. My major in college was English with a concentration in American literature. One of my favorite poets was Lawrence Ferlinghetti and his collection of poems entitled The Coney Island of the Mind. He was sort of a beat poet, and it struck me how he brought his words to action with lines like, a ball bounced down steps. That may be why I had to attend my first poetry slam within a week of my move to Sedona. I called and asked to participate and was granted a position. I must say I was blown away by the competition and had fun, but quickly realized I was going to be a supporter rather than a competitor in the future. I was not involved in any professional institutions in Chicago, but my wife and I are members of the Sedona Art Center. I'm amazed at the number of artists in Sedona and unique creations they produce. I encourage new artists when I can. I met a struggling artist in Chicago. I asked him to send me a sample of his work, which I put on display at an event here in Sedona. It sold for $695, and he now has his website up and is actively pursuing his passion. Another local artist I know had created some cards that I thought were worth displaying. I invited him to an event, and my wife and I took some of his work and displayed it ourselves. He showed up and was encouraged. As a result, he's working to brand his art in association with a local internet marketing company in Sedona. I should also say, I love music. I've considered and enjoyed music for decades, attended my share of concerts from Barry Manilow to Battle of the Bands to Neil Diamond to The Righteous Brother. One is alive now, so I did notice everyone around when I was 50 at that concert, but it was a great evening. To honor the arts, I promise tonight not to sing or to play Down by the Station on my guitar. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Angela Lefevre, and I first want to thank you, all of you who've been involved in organising this forum. I appreciate it, and I'm just so sorry I can't be there in person. Unfortunately, I've had to accompany my husband to Minneapolis to attend the memorial of his sister who passed just recently. So thank you for allowing me to present this film to you instead of not being able to come. And also thank Neil Margolin for videoing it. Thank you. First of all, my personal and professional involvement in any arts discipline or institution. Well, first of all, I was quite involved with live theatre. In past years, especially when I was younger, I was involved in amateur dramatics and took part in a number of productions. Secondly, I've been a member of the Sedona International Film Festival for many years and have been a volunteer at the film festival. I'm a member of the Verde Valley Sinfonietta and raised money for the organisation at this year's Sedona Marathon through pledges. I'm a big supporter of Chamber Music of Sedona and attend their performances. And I was a member of the Canyon Moon Theatre until, alas, it was closed last year. I did enjoy their shows. I am an active member of the Cultural Committee of Friends of the Forest, and I'm a docent at Palatka and VBARV, where the rock art of the old Sonaguans are on display there on the rocks, and where we show the tourists what our history was like and who our first settlers were. And finally, I have written poetry, a lot of poetry, and also published articles in the local press and also national press in England. I really do love to write. Thank you.
Mr. Moderator, fellow Sedona residents and voters, I, myself, Robert O'Donnell, I actually have done lights for a rock band in Hollywood, working in such places as the Coconut Teaser, Billboard Live, and the Whiskey. I've also been a sound man for several Toastmaster events. Speaking is sort of an arts thing, and I've been heavily involved in that for 31 years. I also enjoy photography, and my wife is an aspiring artist. I've been to many rock concerts, one symphony, and a few art walks, including the one in Jerome. This bolo is actually designed by an artist in Jerome, and this was a challenge to her because it was the first bolo she ever made. You may want to check it out later and see if you can figure out what the figure is. Our house is a nice collection of paintings, photographs, and sculptures. I myself have been a coin collector, enjoying the beauty and designs of many of the coins. And unfortunately, I hate to see when someone wants to melt them down for the beauty, for just the metal content. This past weekend, I went to a jazz concert at the church, the first time for me for a jazz event. So it's not my type of normal music, but it was enjoyable. I'm also open to all kinds of music and I appreciate others' interest in art. The Coal Pits are my renters here in Sedona. If you don't know them, they're a pair of local sculptures. I would love to see more musical events here. Obviously, not always the choice of my music, but there needs to be some evening entertainment. We don't need to roll the streets at night, yet there is a noise issue. We are not a large geographic town, and as such, noise will travel and affect resident areas. We also cannot build large indoor arenas, so residents will have to accept there will be some noise to withstand for a reasonable time frame. See the 10 p.m. limit as currently defined. The style of music should represent the area, so that will mean I may still have to travel for some of my favorite groups, or ones like them, such as Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Pink Floyd, ZZ Top, Queensryche, or even Madonna or Lady Gaga. Thank you.